I hope I'm audible to all of you. Please confirm in the comments so that we can start the session. I hope I'm audible to all of you. Please confirm in the comments so that we can start the session. I hope I'm audible to all of you. Please confirm in the comments so that we can start the session. I hope I'm audible to all of you. Please confirm in the comments so that we can start the session. Thank you, Monica, for confirming. Okay, I hope I'm audible to all of you. Please confirm in the comments so that we can start the session. Last session, we have learned what is the primary key, what is the foreign key, and how these keys can be created. So in today's session, we will continue the same. Like as I saw you that whenever there is a relation between primary key I hope I'm audible to all of you. Please confirm in the comments so that table have a relation. We can start during that time the session. Delete parent table. So to or you cannot delete an entry from the parent table, and the other thing is that even you can't drop a table. So what I will do, I will create the same scenario one more time, and I will show you that whenever there is a relation between primary. I hope I'm audible to all of you. Please confirm in the comments so that we can start the session. This department table also, or you cannot delete or entry from the parent table, and the other thing is that even you can't drop a table. So what I will do, I will create the same scenario one more time, and I will show you that whenever there is a relation between primary. I hope I'm audible to all of you. Please confirm in the comments so that we can start the session. This department table also, or you cannot delete or entry from the parent table, and the other thing is that even you can't drop a table. So what I will do, I will create the same scenario one more time, and I will show you that whenever there is a relation between I hope I'm audible to all of you. Please confirm in the comments so that we can start the session. I hope I'm audible to all of you. Please confirm in the comments so that we can start the session. Will unmute myself. I hope I am audible to all of you. Okay, so I will explain index. So as I mentioned, like someone told you that open a chapter of 11th and you have like thousands of the pages in a book. How can you open it, right? So to open a particular chapter, what we will do, we'll search in index of a book and then we will search the page number and then we will go to that particular chapter. So to go from to search a particular chapter or to go to particular page, what we will do, we will use the index page of that book. Okay. So here in SQL Server also the same concept is applied. So in SQL Server, whenever we retrieve data from a table, we use index. If index is not there, then what will happen? It will scan whole table and then it will retrieve. It will provide the particular record to us. So to get the result faster, like in SQL Server or any real world of the database, the data is in the terabyte or like petabyte. So nowadays, like uh, think about the Google have lots of data. Think about the Facebook, like whenever you search on the Facebook of your friend's name and it will immediately show the all the results. So behind that, on that particular table, on that particular column, they have created indexes. So index, the purpose of the indexes is to get the result faster. And you can create multiple indexes on a table, and other thing is that, but there is a drawback. If you create a multiple indexes on a table, then SQL Server has to maintain this index. So if you created multiple indexes on a server, then what will happen? You have to write these indexes, or you have to maintain, SQL Server have to maintain a index page. And whenever you do insert or update operation during that time, it will degrade your performance because SQL Server has to write at a two place. Okay, one at the record itself and other is at the index allocation pages. So as I mentioned, there are two types of the index. One is the cluster index and another is the non-cluster index. So whenever you create a primary key, by default cluster index will be created, and whenever you create a unique key, by default non-cluster index will be created. So what is the syntax to create an index? It is very simple. It's a create statement. So again it fall under DDL. So we are creating a definition of index. So the syntax is very simple: create index, then index name, and on table then you have to mention the column names. So this is the syntax. And to create a unique index, you have to mention like unique keyword. This unique keyword you have to mention, nothing else. So this is the syntax to create a unique index. Whenever you create a unique index, by default uh, unique key will be created or unique constraint will be created, vice versa. So whenever like unique constraint will be created on that column, that time you may not allow duplicate values in that particular field. So there is one more concept and it is mostly asked during interview, is that what is the composite index? So as I mentioned during primary key, what is primary key? Composite primary key. The composite primary key is a key where we create a index on multiple. We create a key on a multiple column. Same concept applies here. So what is composite key? Whenever you create a index on more than one column, that is called as a composite key, composite index. And simple index means nothing. Like it's very simple. Whenever you create a index on single column, it's called a simple index. So what I will do, I will create a index on a table. I will create a simple index and a composite index, and I will show you how uh, uh, like how it looks like. So what I will do, let me check. I have a table already there. So let me check. You can see indexes here. Okay, the I have a unique key constraint over here, and hence it is showing me unique index. So what I will do, let me check the table structure. So how can you can check the table structure? Table structure means what is the definition? Okay, here I will create select star from table name. I will check the records. What kind of the records? Okay, I have only one record. What I will do, I will create a index on ID. I will drop this one first to avoid the confusion. Okay, now there is no index, nothing. Now what I will do, I will create a simple index. So the syntax is create index, then index name. Whenever you create a non-cluster index, mention ix as the starting. This is a naming convention. It is not required to mention ix, but like it is a standard way to mention the index. Then index name. So I am creating index on the ID column, and then sorry, I am creating index on the voter table. So I will mention the voter table name here, and then the column name. You can see I am creating here index on this voter table, and column I'm using column name ID. So I will use ID as underscore. Then on this is the syntax. Then table name. So what is the table name? Voter is table name in our case. Now here you can specify like in the round bracket you can mention what I will do, I will restart, refresh it, and you can see non-unique, non-clustered index. So meaning is that like whenever I haven't specified any keyword here. So during that time it is creating non-unique and non-cluster index. So if I want to create a non-cluster index, it is very simple. You have to specify non clustered index. That's it. Okay. If I am not specifying non-cluster index, then also it is automatically creating as a non-cluster index. So what I will do, I will, yeah, and you can create multiple index on a same column. So what I will do, I will create one more index. I'm having this index, okay, already. Now what I will do, I will create one more index as underscore one. I'm just changing the name. If I'm not changing the name, what will happen? It will throw an error. So see, operation failed because an index operation failed because an index or statistics with name ix voter id already exists. So you cannot create a duplicate index on a same table, meaning that you cannot create a same name index. Like if you have a index name with this ix voter id, you cannot create one more index with the same name. So, but I can create multiple index on this ID column. So how can I do that? Just change the name to something else. So I just put underscore and one, and I can create it. See, now earlier I haven't mentioned, earlier my syntax was like this. It was, it was create index name on, this is my table name, then the field name. Now, okay. Now what I did, I put non-clustered keyword deliberately so that I know that I'm creating a non-clustered index, and you can create as many as non-clustered index on a table. So the limit is 999. As of now, I think 999 is the max limit. So we can create a non-clustered index up to 999. So I will refresh and I will show you. I have created one more index. Okay, see here. So I have two non-clustered indexes on a same column. Now what I will do, I will create non-clustered index as a composite index. So what is it? I have to like, what is composite? Composite means combination of more than one. So here in my case, what I will do, I will keep voter name as a another field or another column. You can either, it is called, see, column is called either attribute, field. So there are three words, like one is the field, other is attribute, and one is column. So what I will do now, I will create, one more index, okay, one more non-cluster index with multiple columns, and that is called as a composite index. Now see, it is throwing me an error that if you check, it is clearly stating that, let me get it down. It is clearly stating that the index or statistics with name ix voter underscore id underscore 1 already exist on table or view voter. Okay, so it will not allow you to create the index, same index name, index with the same name. So what I will do, I will put then composite keyword, compo. So this is my composite index. See, this is called as composite index. If you check here, so this is a composite key, and you can, like, this is called as the composite index. Now, suppose, and this is non-cluster index. You can create a cluster index as a single index as well as a simple index as well as a composite index. So to get a definition, see, of a index, how you will get it? Just right click and then script index as create index. In new window you will get it. See, create non, like this is the, like SQL will add few other things, you can ignore this stuff. So this is the syntax: create non-cluster index, then index name on table name, and then id. I will explain what is this ascending and descending once we learn order by clause. So why it is important, and like while reading data, how it plays important role. Ascending and descending, ascending means increasing order, and descending means decreasing order. Mm, we learned simple index, composite index, okay. And now suppose you want to get the list of the index. So to get the list of the index, to get the list of indexes, what is sp underscore help index is the store procedure. It is by default, like it is a default store procedure provided by SQL Server. So I can execute and I will get the all indexes whatever exist on the table. So I have created three index. One was simple index on ID field, other was same, like I have created the same index on the same field called ID, but the index name was different, and this is the composite. There is no need to mention the composite keyword. You can give any name to the index. Okay, as like these are the user defined name. You can give any name, but you cannot give any field which doesn't exist in your table. So these keys, the column should be exist in the table. Now, what is the alternative way to get the indexes? How many indexes are there in the table? So just this is my table, right? So just select this table and press Alt F1. So you will get the list of the indexes at the end. Okay, so you can see indexes 1, 2, 3, and you will get other stuff also. Okay, but to get the indexes, this is the other way. This is the best way where you will get only indexes. Now, to drop a index, what is the syntax? Drop index table name dot index name, or you can simply, I will give a syntax drop to. From here also you can drop. So drop index, index name, then table name. So this is the syntax to drop a index. I will drop this index, and now I will drop these two also. From here also I can delete the index. I think it's already dropped, so there is no index. Now what I will do, I will create one more index. Guys, okay, so I think we'll take this one down. This is just a script, okay. Now what I will do, I will click. If you see there is no index on this table, there is no index. What I will do, as I mentioned, whenever you create an non-unique index, that time by default what it is unique constraint will be created, and you will not allow to insert a duplicate values. So how can we do that? Now I will create a unique index. See, create index UNI unique, then create unique index name. Oh, I don't think so. Okay, IX, then Voter is my table name. Then on ID field, post that I will give a table name. So what is the table name? Voter. And then I will specify the column name. So if I am not specifying anything here, then by default this ascending will come. Okay. If I specifying descending, if I haven't specified anything ascending or descending, it will take as ascending. If I and now if I want to specify descending, then I will specify dex keyword. I will explain this ascending descending in like future videos or future session. See now what I did, I have created an index. Now if you refresh it, oh, why it's not created? Yeah, index is created. Now what I will do, I will insert a I will try to insert a duplicate values in this table. Okay, to get the list of the records, what is it? Select star from, then voter. So what I will do, I will try to insert. See, if you check, there is no primary key on this table. There is no primary key. Nothing is there, right? So it should not. It should allow me duplicate. Let's see whether it will allow or not. Insert into, then table name, dbo.voter. This is my table name. Then syntax values. So now I am inserting values into each and every field. So what I will do, I will insert yeah, Maisha. Then her age is 3 years and date of birth is 2018-07-20. We'll insert this record. See, cannot insert duplicate values. Though I haven't created unique key on this field while creating the table, I just created the unique index. So while once you created the unique index, it will not allow a duplicate values. Okay, so it will behave as like unique constraint. I will change it from 1 to 2, and then I will insert. Yeah, it will allow me. The check constraint. Okay, so I have a check constraint on this because uh, her age should be greater than 18. Okay, so I will specify 18, and like here you can specify then 20, probably um 06 years. You can consider 4. See, it is allowing me. If you check the definition of this table, how can we check? See, this is the definition of check constraint. This is the definition of check constraint. So it was not allowing me to, if I try to enter age as 3, and this like 3 is not greater than equals to 18. So it is not allowing me to insert that record. So we have just learned unique index. So whenever you create a unique index, it will act as a unique constraint. Now what we will learn, we will create a cluster index on this table. I will drop the index, this index. I will create a cluster index. So what I will do, I will create a create index, then clustered keyword, cluster, then index name ix, then table name author, and then id. Else we can create, let me check what is this definition of this table. Unique non-clustered index is there. Okay, we'll create this table. So this is the syntax: create table, dbo not null, id last name first name mobile. It will not allow. First I have to drop it. Let me drop it. We'll create a table, and what I will do, I will insert one record here. Insert into person, then values. I'm inserting values into all the fields. So one comma last name is Jody. Probably the first name is last name is, I will mention only D. Then first name mention, I will mention Maisha. Then mobile number is integer, so I will specify some like, okay. Then age as 18. I will insert values into it. Oh, persons. So make sure the table name is correct while inserting data. Now what I will do, I will create a clustered index. So syntax is create here, create index name. Sorry, we are creating cluster index. So clustered keyword should be there. Then index keyword. These are the keywords. Okay, standard keywords. You can see the color of this is blue. Okay. Then index name ix. I'm creating on the persons table, so persons. Then I'm creating on the ID field. Then on table name. So what is table name? This is my table name. I will copy and paste here, and I will specify the column name. So here I'm creating a cluster index on ID field, and I will execute this one. I will select. So I have three scripts here. One is create table, other is insert record, and this is the third. Now, if I try to execute this script or without selecting a script, if I try to execute, then I will get an error. I will show you. Okay. See, there is already an object named person in the table. Even though the script is part of my editor, now what I want to do, I want to execute only this part. So what I will do, I will select this part and then I will execute so that only this part will be get executed. So it is always advised to execute a particular, select the particular part and then execute the statement. So now I will show you that clustered index is created. Hmm, Let me refresh the table. And under the indexes, this is a cluster index. So if I try to create one more cluster index, it will not allow me to do that because per table we can create only one index. What I will do, I will try to create an index on this mobile field. What I will do, I will change here the index name and I will execute, try to execute. See, cannot create more than one cluster index on a table. Then table name before creating another. So, like if you want to create one more index, drop the existing one. Meaning that drop this index and then you can create. So, what I will do, I will drop this index. Will drop this index and then it will allow me to create an index. See, it is allowed. So there is an index on the mobile number. Now, but if you create a non-cluster index, let me copy this one, paste it here. I will create now non-cluster index. See, it will allow me to create. What I will do, I will create non-cluster. Oh, okay, ID. Then what I will do, I will try to create a non-cluster index on the mobile field, and here I will change the name. See, so in a single table, more than one non-cluster index can be created, but you cannot create more than one clustered index. Reason is that whenever you store the data in this table, it will store the data in sorted order. For example, if I have a numbers like 1, 2, 3, 4, it will store the data likewise only. And, and cluster index stores data physically, okay, in physical order. So this data, if you try to reverse the order, then there will be a conflict. So to avoid that, it is advised, like the design of the software is itself that it is only one, like only one cluster index is possible on a single table. So if you have multiple tables, you can create cluster index on each and every table. Now what I will do, I will show you. See, uh, whenever you create a primary key, by default a cluster index is created. Whenever you create a unique key, by default a non-cluster index is created. So I will show that part here immediately. I will create a table called student with attribute id int primary key, then mm, name varchar 100, and I will create Aadhaar card where it is integer, then UNI unique. I will not create more records here or no more fields here. I will execute. See, I will refresh the tables and student is created. Now you can see by default this index is created and this unique index. See, you can see here uh, the index name and at the end in the bracket unique non-clustered, and you can see here clustered index. So whenever you create a primary key on a table, by default cluster index is created, and whenever you create a non like unique key constraint, then by default a non-cluster index is created. But if 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 a table doesn't have a primary key, then can I create a non cluster index? Yes, you can, because if you see this person table, we don't have any, like I will show you here key first. See, I have key, this is a primary key and this is a unique key. But if you see at the person table, there is no key. So if if a table doesn't have a any keys, primary key, still we can create a cluster index on that table. Okay, it will not restrict to us creating a clustered or non-cluster index. But now in here, if you have declared a primary key, then by default it has created a cluster index. So it will not allow me to create one more cluster index. You can create more non-clustered and unique non-clustered indexes. Now, okay, so there are two types of the indexes, clustered and non-clustered. So most of the time interview will ask you what is the difference between clustered index and non-clustered index. This is the difference. Like this will arrange the rows physically in the memory in sorted order. Okay, like either ascending or descending. If it sorted the values in ascending order, as I shown you, like this, for example, 1, 2, 3, 4, and I have name like Q, data is like this only. Initially it will sort the data like this. How? Like if you reverse the order, what will happen? The sequence will, like there will be a data integrity issue, right? Earlier it was this 4 was pointing to yes, right? So it was storing data like 4 and yes. Now if you reverse the order, then what will happen? It will point to Q. Okay, so to avoid that data integrity issue, what is like what why I mean there is a provision that you can create only one cluster index per table, and in case of the non-cluster index, it will not sort the data or store the data in sorted order. It will just point like instead of the this 1 2 3 4, it will take the memory address of this 1 2 3 values. This will be faster when we are deleting or updating the data. Only one index per table is possible, whereas you can create triple nine index 3 times 9, that is 999 index non-cluster index you can create on a single table. Now whenever you create a primary key, by default a cluster index is created. Whenever you create a unique key, or unique constraint, by default a cluster, by default non-cluster index is created. Non-cluster, not a clustered index. Okay, I hope indexes concept is clear to all of you. Now what I will do, I will explain this foreign key with delete cascade option. Now what we will do, we'll create, we have created a student table, and I will insert few records into, in this student, insert into student values 1 comma j comma, what is other card number, I will give random number. Okay, don't take me wrong way. And we'll create one more record here. Gene. I can execute these three commands in a single time, and here you will get an output. You can see three rows are affected, 1 2 3. And to get the records, what is the command? Select, like how can we check the record? Select star to get the all columns, and then see, I have created three. Now what I will do, I will create, yeah, so primary key is ID. Now what I will do, I will create one more table called a course. Create table course, then ID course underscore ID int primary key. There is, like, whenever you declare a primary key while creating table, there is no need to specify not null constant. You can specify, or you, like, it is not required at all. Okay, so in case we haven't specified not null, you can see, if you check the definition of this table, it is showing that not null. So by default not null will be added, so it is not required to mention the not null keyword whenever you define a primary key. Primary key doesn't allow not null, sorry, null values. Then course name varchar 100 and stud underscore id int. What is the syntax? I will copy this one. Foreign key reference is, we are referring student table, and then uh, like, which field we are referring? We are referring id field, right? There is an id field from the student table. So make sure these are properly aligned, so that in case if you are getting error, then you can easily identify. So I have created course table, and it is referring student id table. So this id is a foreign key in this table. Now what I will do, I will insert a record in the course table. Insert into course values 1 comma SQL and then 1 student 1. And now what I will do, I will try to drop this student table. Drop table student. See, it is not allowing me to do that. Give me 1 minute. So why it is not me allow why it was not allowing me to drop? Because the student table, this the parent table, okay, is referred in the child. Okay, that's the reason it is not allowing me to drop it. Okay, so reason is that the student table was reference into another. The student table is referred into here. So it is not allowed. So how can I do that? To do that, I have to either remove the reference, or what I will do, like now I will try to delete this record. Okay, so to delete a record, the syntax is delete from student, where what is the ID? Select star from student. See this ID, I will try to delete this one. See, delete statement conflict with the references blah blah, and it is not allowing me to delete. But if I try to delete a record 2, it will allow me. Okay, what I will do, I will delete a record 2. See, there is no record exist in the table 2. 2 record is deleted. So whenever you try to delete a record, that record first need to be deleted from child table. So if you delete the record, this one where this ID, that is student ID, equals to 1. Now it will allow me to delete the record from the student table, where ID equals to 1. See, now there is no record called 1. Okay, so it is mandatory, like if there is any relationship between the two table, then what you have to do, you have to first delete the record from the child, and then you have to delete a record from the parent. So that is very, I mean, it is mandatory. Now what I will do, like instead of deleting the records from the child, if I want to delete the records from the parent, I can do. And how can I do that? I can achieve the same thing using this cascade, delete cascade option. So what is cascade? Cascade is kind of waterfall. Okay, if you want to delete it, what it will internally SQL Server what will do, it will delete that record from the child, and then it will delete from the parent. So today we will stop here again because it's lengthy session. Now today we will stop here and I will cover this cascade delete tomorrow, and from tomorrow onwards we will start uh, select statements, which is very important, and most of the time you in like industry you have to deal with the select statement. So thank you for joining. We'll connect tomorrow at 8 p.m.